finally worked up the courage to do this nonsense. What's going on? Got me some new lighting, as you can plainly see from the now glorious glow. I decided to do a top 10 video.
Stop it. Get some help.
On what, you may ask? Well, why not comics? Why not we hit all of the nerdy things? This is just a test run trying to get me through the day. So, what am I testing it on? Of course, Punisher, my favorite, my all-time, my boy. I have like 80 shirts, but I'm not wearing one of them. Fucking kill me. And I'm gonna go down the list here. I've got a stack of good trades. I'm not doing individual comics because I feel as if it's not fair. Because I could pick a whole bunch of individual comics that could be considered as such. So, we're going to start off immediately. Top 10, number 10, Punisher, Dead End. The art style, the story that it tells, and even the great finale that it spits out is good to have in any collection if you are a fan of Punisher. The only downside, of course, is there are actually some vague appearances that to a non-Marvel fan might be like, who the fuck is this shit? And why should I care? Get lured and get understood, and also it even comes in a nice hardbound one that has a nice, alternative cover. But of course, keep the dust cover, keep it nice and tidy. That's one of the few that I've got that are in that condition. Number 9 on my list, Punisher Nightmare goes back into his past and talks about someone who was a bit estranged and decides to come back. And when he comes back, well, he's not that pencil pusher he once knew. No, he comes back stronger and more able. But he also comes back with a little bit of PTSD and even dwells a little bit on Punisher's PTSD as well. It's a good read overall, even if you're not too much of a fan. You better be a fucking fan if you're going to be picking this amazing stuff up. Next up, number 8. Punisher, 6 Hours to Kill. The cover alone, look at that. It's so good of a cover. Oh, just fucking, it's got basically a organic thing. A nice timeline. You gotta condense it down. He only has, 6 hours to do something. And he's just moving quick to get it all done. And of course, knowing Frank Castle, he gets it all done. The alternative covers for those pieces are usually in the back of these trade copies. Let me go ahead and grab you one if they are here, and they are not here. Moving on. Number 7 is something that just recently came out that a friend of mine bought me. Daredevil and the Punisher. It's a good one-off, a very good one-off. It gives good backstory if you're a good fan of Daredevil and, of course, of Punisher. It really revels between both of them having knowledge of one another and then having to work off one another, as well as Castle saying, instead of sending him to the judicial system, why don't I just do it? Meanwhile, you got Daredevil, who is, God-fearing, and says, hey, I'm going to do this, through the actual way of the world doing things. It's good. It's pretty good. Number 5. Now, number 5 through 4. Wait, shit. Did I skip a number? Number 6 through 4. I know how to fucking count. Number 6 through 4 are going to be all from the Punisher Max series, but you can pick them up in any order. It doesn't really matter as far as it'd be helpful, of course, if you did it in order, but this is the order that I like them in. Number 9, The Long Cold Dark. Oh my god, that's such a sheen. But Long Cold Dark, they all have similar covers such as this to enunciate. They all have nice stories. They all tell a tale of Black Irish, Tortleon. That one guy that pissed on the Punisher's grave. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of neat little tales that the entire Punisher Max tells, of which I'm going into, as well as Black Irish and Kitchen Irish. It talks about, his going happens and warning, anything that has this in the corner not really child friendly. Oh no, no. There's penis cutting. There's penis cutting in these. They're all good. I recommend them. And that brings me to number 4, which is The Slavers. This one's one of my favorite of the Punisher Max set, but not my personal favorite overall. It's the one that basically gives the ordeal of slave trading and whatnot, and that's kind of a hint toward my number 1 favorite. But we'll get to that, of course, in a little bit. Fucking. Next one's kind of a 2-parter. I would say, because it kind of same genre, same feel, but different name. Punisher kills the Marvel Universe, meanwhile it's Marvel Universe versus the Punisher. Meanwhile, this one would be the more favorite of them. I still, of course, I like them both. They're both pretty good. They both tell a good tale. They both are thumbs up. They both do good. That brings me to number 2. The current run, well, what I can call a current run of the Punisher is pretty good. It's pretty good. Last Days does tell a pretty good current age story of what the Punisher would be going through at this current time. And having, let me just go like this. Having Captain America, quote unquote, die, and then of course give up his shield, etc. And then during that intermittence of time, shit still happens to go. Civil War kind of confused some people, because if you weren't a comic book fan and then you fell into Civil War, you're like, okay, so who are these people? Why should I care? But they still revelated on it, and I don't even know most of the details. But during that, of course, you had the Punisher doing his thing, and during it leads to some good covers. I love all of the covers of this entire set. And it even runs across the Black Widow. She even crosses paths with him later on, and I believe even in one of her covers, it has a nice little Punisher logo instigating. They cross their paths, but it doesn't showcase what she does. So I might pick up her set. Oh. Runners up, those that I like in total, but I just don't feel obligated to give them a spot in the top 10. One of which is Punisher Warzone. I mean, in what comic book could you say Thor talked down Frank into having a fucking beer and just chilled with him? But it's pretty good. It's what if Frank was indeed a little bit nutso schizo, but at the same time he was like, okay, I don't want to be a part of the Avenger Initiative, but at the same time, I still want to do what I'm doing. But they're wanting to stop me, so I gotta kind of lure them away from that. It's a good, fun time, but I wouldn't lean out for it. I bought it because Punisher, you know. Last but not least, something that is in a huge collective. There is a lot of big old things, a lot of big books for big boys. Is the Punisher War Journal in the Civil War set. There's, I believe, ones that of course go all the way through, and you have to get like all the parts of it with Wolverine, Spider-Man, the New Avengers, House of oh my god, there's a lot of chapters and parts in this thing, and they all kind of intertwine with one another. I want to get Wolverine's and Spider-Man's next, but I don't know, but they often throw little sketches and nice little pieces in the middle of all this. You know, I like it. I like it a lot. The art style is spot on, spectacular, but a little bit out in the middle of the entire story, which is a bit, haze and days for people like you and I. And for my number 1 spot on my top 10 list, I will always recommend this to people who are starting off with Punisher and asking what should be the go-to, is Punisher Girls in White Dresses. Once again, that little logo up at the top tells it's not for young adults, but more toward regular adults. It is graphic. It gives Frank a good dilemma. It is probably the most color used in this comic, in this entire trade, is probably black. This is probably the darkest, not dark as in like sense, dark as in actual. This the main color of this comic is just straight up black, and then everything is kind of in the middle. There's no white panel in the borders. No, it's black. Like I'm gonna give you a quick flip without spoiling. Look at that, just black, and then everything's painted around it. It's dark. It's nice. It's got a good tale. It really explains Frank down to his finest degree before he finally does his decision, of which he doesn't really pay for it, but you'll see if you happen to check this one out. Once again, this is my number one. My number one. Other than that, of course, I enjoy things like Deadpool, and I could showcase that off in another light, but I'm terrible in general, so we'll see. I mean, it's not like I spent $15 on the friggin' Death of Deadpool number 250. I made a huge mistake. And while these are here, I am a collector of the Punisher comics. That's straightforward. That's right out there. That's out the gate. That looks good. Right off the bat, of course, I would purchase these just based off of cover alone. Like, look at it. Look at how dark and gritty that is. It tells everything. This is what I like about it. Now, of course, you have the Punisher and Deadpool. That's a good cover. Like, you don't run into bad covers with the Punisher in them. It's like legally impossible, unless you go back to like 1992 ish, like the first War Journal set. Then you get into some weird ones that I have in my collection. We'll talk about those on a later time if I feel like it. Thank you for joining me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. As said, I'm usually doing these kinds of videos as a form of archive, because I want to collect what I know as far as for my own benefit. If you guys happen to get a little bit of entertainment, a little bit of the memeage out of it, the meme mileage out of it, then it's a plus. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it, because I would at least like a little bit of gratification. I have low self-esteem. Help. Oh yeah, also, how'd you guys like the new lighting, where it's not like fucking two shines on my face, and we're gonna try and make that work. This is pretty good. I like it. Hey, it looks pretty good. I'll try and find a good medium, but this pretty spot on so far. Doesn't have reflecting on the back. Doesn't give too much in the front. I like this. Hopefully we can find a good medium and make things work. Thank you guys once again for joining me. Subscribe if you like it. I'm going to try and make more of an archive. I might even go over the shitty little pile of 100 and some odd Funko Pops that I have. Maybe. Bye.